Hello my friends, William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. In today's video I'm going to make some more juice with the zero blowback cutter with mostly greens. Here I have collard greens, over here I have romaine lettuce, I have about 7 cucumbers, about 5 pounds of tomatoes, 1 medium-sized beet, some turmeric, about 150 grams of turmeric, some ginger and garlic. Now, one of the beautiful things about having an organic garden is Mother Nature tells you what needs to be picked. And what I'm going to do is juice the collard greens and the romaine lettuce with the rest of these ingredients. So let's make some juice. Now, as usual, my friends, I'm going to plug in the thermometer and put in 3 ice cubes to cool down the cutter and the feed tube. Now I'm using version number 4 of the zero blowback cutter, and we're working on a different version because it does a great job on carrots but not as good on greens as we would like. So when I make version number 5, we'll be back to make another video. So let's start with some greens. Romaine lettuce. Actually, it's doing quite a good job on greens. Now next I'm going to put in a couple of collard greens, and what I usually do is fold it in half and roll it into a spindle. And one tip on any cutter, but especially for the zero blowback cutter, is put the stem in end first. Well, I'm very surprised that the zero blowback cutter is doing as well as it is, on greens that is. Centigrade. I like to keep it below 23, so I'm going to put in 3 more ice cubes. Now, one tip I want to give you on using any cutter, you're going to get some blowback because this cutter is spinning at 3,500 revolutions a minute. But to minimize any blowback, you want to feed in the stem first, and also never drop your produce into the feed tube. You want to guide it in slowly. As you can see, we're getting zero blowback if we guide in the produce. So let's do that again with the last of my collard greens. Actually, I'm quite satisfied with this cutter, but we're going to do better before we release it to the general public. Now next I'm going to put another cucumber through, and I want to point out one little tip. Things like cucumbers are very full of liquid, and it's going to clear out the shoot. And after you put a cucumber in, it's very important to keep the opening covered because you could get some spit back. So let's feed in a cucumber. Remember, after a cucumber, keep this covered. More cucumber. And again, another tip is to go down only halfway. You want to keep some pulp in the tube at all times. So, especially with cucumbers and tomatoes and things like that, go down only halfway. So next I'm going to put in a beet. Now I'm going to switch the carrots. When they're small carrots like this, you can put them end to end. Normally you put the big end in first. And remember, feed them in, don't drop it in. Now with the zero blowback cutter, you could drop it in. If you want to guide it in. Remember, your cutter's going around at 3,500 revolutions a minute. We're done, my friends. Now what can you do to avoid blowback? Number 1, if you put ice cubes or tomatoes or cucumbers through the chute, always Keep the top of the feed tube covered and guide your produce through. Do not drop it in. Another thing you can do to minimize blowback is to clean your grid more often. And that will allow the produce to drop through to your collection bowl instead of spit back at you. I hope you find these tips helpful. Now we're done. We're going to clean the feed tube and make some juice. My next step, as usual, is to mix the greens and the carrots thoroughly. I spin my bowl in both directions to get a really good mix. Now I'm starting making juice. I've got 2 sets of cloths in here. It's very important to center it left to right, front to back, all the way back, and back it off. Remember, you do not want this to go up too fast. The cloths are very slippery in the beginning. When you get a little bit of traction, you can advance it a little bit more. So I'm on my last cloth now, and I'm going to put 3 medium-sized scoops in here. And I'm going to show you my less work 6-cloth method. This goes forward. Advance it all the way first. This goes over, and the spent cloths will go on top. Now you notice because of the tomatoes and cucumbers, there's a lot of liquid in here. So the spent cloths are going to go on top. 2 more cloths are going to go inside, centered left to right, centered front to back, and I'm going to very carefully, all the way back, back it off, very carefully I'm going to pour this into the collection bowl. And I can't tell you, the first time I did that I made a mess everywhere because I wasn't careful and I didn't go slowly. So because we have a lot of liquid in the bowl, what I'm going to do is take the spent pulp, crush it up, and put it in the puddle inside the bowl. And I also want to point out that I've started a new set of 6 cloths. I can reuse these cloths 4, maybe 5 or 6 times depending on the produce. But we have a new set of 6 cloths here. 3 scoops. Folded in thirds like so. As tight a package as you can get. Set that aside, and when you're on your last cloth, you advance that all the way. The second less work 6-cloth method is to put 2 scoops on top of the old pulp. You do not throw away your pulp. And later, I'm going to show you how the Whole Health Foundation model makes 10% more juice. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. Now we're going to keep our eye on this because it's almost full. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off a little bit. Now there's a puddle of juice in my juice bowl, so I'm going to take the spent pulp, crush it up into that puddle of juice to absorb that juice. Keeping my eye on the bowl. And I think, because we're almost full here, I'm not going to press this all the way. What I'm going to do is set this back a little bit, but not just a little bit, a lot, so it's very, very obvious, because I don't want this to drip on my countertop. I'm going to fill this from the back side so the camera can get a good look. And you'll notice I'm filling it not all the way to the top, because I'm going to top these off with either filtered or distilled water. I like to do that because the juice is too rich. And let's make more juice. Flatten it, set it aside, advance it all the way. Keep your eye on the bowl, especially when you get near the top, like I am now. This goes forward, that goes over, the spent cloth goes on top. But because the bowl is almost full, I'm going to set this back again, not just a little bit, because believe me, you will forget. Set it back a lot. I can't tell you how many people have set it back a little bit, damage a tray, and call me. So set it back a lot, fill up more juice bottles. Again, I'm filling it from the back side to get a good camera angle, and remember, I'm filling it to leave about 10% for filtered or distilled water. I use distilled water because I have a water distiller. Right, I'm down to my last of the pulp, so I'm going to use a spatula to get all this precious pulp out here. After all, I grew it myself, except for the carrots. I go through so many carrots, I could never grow enough. I buy my carrots in 25-pound bags. So we'll fold this into thirds again, like I said, as tight a package as possible. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. This goes in the tray, centered, left to right, front to back. That's very important, all the way back, back it off. Now what I'm going to do with this spent pulp is I'm going to form it into a tight ball and press it again using the Whole Health Foundation Premium Juicer to show you how I can get 10% more juice, and that's because of this solid bottom plate that has a lifetime warranty. That bottom plate will never break, I assure you, even if you dropped it from an airplane. Okay, I'm folding this, and notice how I'm folding the cloths under to minimize any slippage. Now, as you can see, I've repackaged all of the spent pulp into tight balls of pulp, and I'm going to press it again to show you with the measuring beaker how much extra juice we get. Now it's very important to center it left to right, front to back, all the way back. Now this time, instead of backing it off, I'm going to wait for juice flow and then back it off. 12 ounces. Well, rather than wait for every thimbleful, I'd like this video to be as short as possible. Pour this into the bowl and we'll bottle it. Well, we're done juicing, my friends, and we got 5, 10, 13 bottles. And remember, one of these bottles was the reprocessed pulps, so we got about 10% more juice, plus enough for a taste test. So let's do a taste test. Well, my friends, there's another video. And in this one, using the Zero blowback cutter, prototype number 4, that did a fairly good job on greens. However, as I said earlier in the video, we're not satisfied with it, and we're going to make another prototype, and I'll make a video of that in a few days. But here today, let's do a taste test. This is mostly greens with carrots, turmeric, ginger, garlic, some cucumbers, and some romaine lettuce. Well, this is very tasty. I can definitely taste the romaine lettuce in here. Well, here's to your health, my friends. I hope you like what you've seen. My phone number, if you want to call me, is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. Here's to your health. Delicious. See you in the next video.